Hey YouTube, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. You're also a micro truck fan and have a ton of SCX24s, RocHobby or Hobby Plus or FMS trucks, RC 4-wheel drive 1 to 18th trucks, 1 to 24th trucks. Okay, and then you have a ton of different LiPo batteries. All those run on 2S and all do come with different plugs. The SCX24 comes with the JST PH plug, formerly only used in 1S LiPos. The Hobby Plus and RocHobby and FMS, the 1 to 12th and 1 to 18th, do come with the Losi style JST DS plug, and the RC 4-wheel drive, as many others, they do come with the red JST SYP or BC plugs. And all those trucks ready to run do only come with super simple USB chargers, which are not super nice, and the Hobby Plus ones even without the center pins, so the LiPos aren't even balanced during charging. However, even better, the old RC 4-wheel drive ones didn't even have a balance LED or cable, and you don't know how to charge them with your normal charger. Normal chargers, the more modern ones, mostly do have a XT60 for power, and former all the chargers did have banana plugs for power in to the battery. Probably you do also have a ton of parallel charging ports if you are in Heli's planes or whatever, but none of those do have those plugs for charging the LiPos of the FMS, RocHobby or SCX24s. With the red JST it's easier, there are boards, and you don't know how to charge all those LiPos with a normal charger. So you probably could make an adapter for each of those. The JST PH, you can buy the plugs only for crimping, and you can also buy, where do I have some plugs with wires, and then you would make an adapter from the battery directly to your charger. So you would use a banana plug if that's what your charger needs, or you would use a XT60 plug if your charger needs an XT60, and you can charge one of those LiPos then balance plug JST XH here and the power plug here. You can do the same stuff with the RocHobby. You can get those plugs, the JST DS with wires. You get them for crimping only, and of course for the red JST plugs everyone has, you get super cheap with wires. You get them for crimping, and they are even easy to crimp, the others not as easy. So you could do this and then make one adapter for your SCX24 LiPos and one adapter for your RocHobby, Hobby Plus, FMS LiPos, and maybe even one adapter for your RC 4-wheel drive, or also the small turniches come with this LiPos. And even if I do have all those plugs, sometimes make some adapters for boards, I do not do this and don't charge my SCX24 and FMS RocHobby LiPos that way. I charge all of them with the same boards or charging wires, because you can use one charging wire for all. And in this video I will show you how to make this or where to buy it, because they are available nearly everywhere, but probably most of you don't know what to search for. So what we will do, we will simply charge and balance the LiPo only by the balance plug, the JST XH plug. In all those small LiPos, the power cable and plugs are normally totally unnecessary, because they have the same dimensions as the balance plug wires, 22 gauge in the SCX24 LiPos, 24 gauge in the Hobby Plus and RocHobby LiPos, and it's absolutely not necessary to use a special plug for power here. And there is a system that only uses the same wires and plugs for charging and for balancing and for powering up the model, and that was or is the UMX system of eFlight Horizon Hobby, same company as Axial now. They started with this about 10 years ago with the 2S, small 2S LiPos with the Blade MCPX brushless and Blade 130X, and for the small UMX planes. And in this system they use the same JST-PH plug as the SCX24 LiPo has, but with 3 pins. So they don't use the XH plug, they use a PH 3-pin plug. And I love this system, I use it a ton. As you can see, I even converted one of my E-Shine that's from the 1 to 12 release Jeeps LiPos to this system, and it's a genius system. I have a ton of LiPos, those are only 260s for my small planes, all with this system. Nobody knows why Axial didn't use this system for the SCX24. But you could also simply use the JST XH plug. You don't need this. Who does this is Turnigy. Check this out. In the 1 to 28th, wow, what a kind of dust. They do have a LiPo with red JST plug and JST XH balance plug, but the balance plug is used for powering and for charging. So easy as this, but nobody does it, but we can do it for charging. We cannot change the power plugs because the SCX24 needs this, and the RocHobby and Hobby Plus, if you don't want to change the electronics, they use this, and many models use the red JST plugs. But you can buy charging cables and even parallel charging cables and charging boards which charge your 2S LiPo only by the XH plug. You only have to know where to search for and what to search, because this system with the XH is not as popular as the UMX. You see this awesome charging board. I can charge 9 LiPos in parallel with the UMX system, and I can charge 9 2S LiPos in parallel directly only by the JST XH plug, by the balancing plug, and I can also charge 1S LiPos with PH or 1.25 millimeters. But that's a little bit sophisticated for trucks. You never will probably charge 9 LiPos in parallel, in contrary to my planes and helicopters. I charge dozens of batteries to fly one day sometimes. But you don't have to buy this quite expensive, not super cheap, but awesome parallel charging board for the LiPos. You can buy cables and 3 or 6 LiPos parallel charging wires and cables like this type nearly everywhere. You only have to know what to search for. And what do you have to search for? You have to search in the heli shops and then Google. You will find probably a heli or a model shop in your area which has those, and they are super cheap. Search for TRex 150 charging cable or parallel charging cable, or OMP M1 charging cable or parallel charging cable, and you will get results everywhere. Even in my city, my heli shop has those. They are super cheap, $3, $5 for parallel charging with 3 or 6, 7, 8, 10 bucks. And then you can charge 1, 2, 3, 4, for example with this one. Those are old ones from Hobby King. I have modified to XH. So I could parallel charge with this wire. I take it to the field normally with my small ISDT charger. I could parallel charge 4, of course, equal LiPos with the XH plug, and with this one I could also parallel charge 2 with the JST PH. In those, if you buy them, mostly you get them with the banana plugs, and of course take care, don't plug the LiPo into the charging wires and then touch this. This gives a shortcut. So that's super easy to find, and probably also your hobby shop will have some of those. There are more available for the UMX because they are so popular. But it's also not difficult to make. What do we have to do? And I will show you how to easily make such a wire now. You need, and probably you will find it in your hobby shop too, for example, a simple 2S balance plug extension cable like this one or those ones, but here the one side is already cut off. And what you will have to do, you will have to simply solder or connect in parallel to the red onto the black wire a plug that goes into the power port. So if I use my ISDT chargers, I need an XT60 plug, and if I would use other chargers, my elder ones, I would need banana plugs. You will probably even have this side, if you have old LiPos, cut always off the balance wires. You don't know when you need them. And probably you will also have XT60 and don't have to solder those from super old LiPos. At least I do it. If I discharge and discard a super old LiPo, I always cut off the wires. And making this to a wire with which I can charge those and those and the SCX24 LiPos is super simple. I only have to connect for the ISDT charger and XT60 plug with wires to this extension cable. Quite thick wires here, but we'll do it. I will show this to you now. Easiest way would be to cut off wires and then connect again. You don't have to cut off the blue wire, but how will I do it now? I will cut them and then solder the will not cut them. Okay, let's cut them. Of course, that's not beautiful, but if you want to make it beautiful, take thinner wires. I only wanted to show them simplest way to make such a SCX24 RocHobby, whatever, charging wire to charge your LiPo with a normal charger, and that's it already. Now I show it to you. Hey, that's in German. So what do you have to do now? Here, battery, here, and here plug in the XH plug of your SCX24 or whatever 2S LiPo. That's it. And you see, oh, it's nearly full. And then when charging, of course, 2S, adjust the charging current. 300 milliamp is okay. That's a 350 milliamp hours LiPo. If you want to charge it with 1C, 300, 400 milliamp. don't overcharge it with too high current. Sorry, I have more of those ISDT chargers and I'm sure the others are in English. You don't understand now. This means start task. And I start now and you see it charges. And probably it will even be full soon. And what if you want to do parallel charging? If you want to charge more than one of the LiPos, best the same type, of course, all 2S, same LiPos, more or less same charging status. Of course, you can simply do such a charging via 2. Then that's more like this style. What do you have to do? Simply connect in parallel again the charger side or the cable side of the XH plug. So this one. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, connect them in parallel here, and then you can charge more than one. And if you do parallel charging, you can charge, for example, this wire has 6. You can charge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So it doesn't matter how many. And you have to adjust the charging current, of course. So if you charge only one LiPo, a 600 milliamp hours LiPo, 1C charging rate is good for the LiPo. So I would take 0.6 amps for the SCX24, 3 or 400 milliamps or 0.3, 0.4. It has a charging rate up to 3C, so you could charge it even with 1 amp, but that's not healthy. And those RocHobby and Hobby Plus, they are super bad and weak LiPos. The new ones, the 380 milliamp ones, where is one? They are even labeled with only 5C. Those are elder ones. Okay, don't have a newer one out. No, they are only 5C. They're 380 milliamp hours LiPos. Where are they? The old ones were 600. Ah, okay, here it's written 5C. Discharge rate. So I would never think that this LiPo will be able to be charged to 3C. So with 1 amp could damage, could even burn the LiPo. In the SCX24 LiPos 3, you can charge it with 1 amp maximum. Okay. However, there's one thing. There are those super cool chargers. They do not charge with the power plug and the balance plug. They only charge 2 or 3 or even 4S LiPos. This one, that's super cheap from Hobby King, via the balance plug. But take care, because you can't adjust the amperage here. So they always charge with 1.5 amp, and that's much too much. I know someone recommended to use those chargers for the SCX24 LiPos. I do not recommend this. That's more than, that's 4.5C. This will damage, maybe damage the LiPo for sure. It's not healthy. This can be too much, and then those people complain if the LiPos don't hold up for a long time. So I don't understand this. You can't adjust the charging current here. Those are super nice, for example, for larger LiPos like this one, 2S 4000 milliamp. If it's charged with 1500 milliamps, 4000 milliamp hours, it will take nearly 3 hours, but sometimes I don't care. Simply plug it in and it will work and it will charge. No problem with 0.3C. But with those, with 380 milliamp hours, with 1500 milliamp charging rate, that's probably much too much. And for an SCX24 LiPo, that's for sure not healthy either. But I will show you something. You can not only buy those extension cables, you can also buy those parallel cables for JST-XH. Super cheap. I guess I have all this stuff from Hobby King, more than 10 years already. And with this cable, you probably can super easily charge some SCX24 LiPos in parallel. So connect the parallel XH wires to the charger, and then of course with about more or less same status of voltage, connect your SCX24 LiPos in parallel. I check now how full those are. That's 4 volts is this one, and this one is, oh, that's nearly full. Okay, that's nearly full. That's nearly full too now. We will stop here and I will show you now. Those are nearly full, those two. Yes, shut up. So, and here we have the charger now. And now I connect two nearly equally charged SCX24 LiPos to the board. Come on. So you see, those will be charged with 1500 milliamps. Now that's still much, because one is about 400 milliamps, 800, that's 2C. Wouldn't recommend this either to do it all the time, but 3 or 4, even 4. If you have 4, I do have 4 SCX24 LiPos, but in different charging states or even more. So if you buy such a super cheap wire and connect 4, they will be charged with about 1C all the time, and that's super convenient. If they are full, you will see it here. You will see now battery 1, battery 2, so cell 1, cell 2, but those are the cells in parallel. You see already full, nearly full. Now it's balancing. Don't recommend it to do it with only 2 of the SCX24 LiPos, and of course not with 1. So it's better if you first connect the LiPos to this wire, because there's no danger of shortcut, and then connect them together to the charger. So for 4, 5, 6, even 6 LiPos, then it will take a little bit more than 1 hour. But that's okay, and that's fine, but don't do it with one single LiPo. And this should be possible for every one of you. Those XH plugs are even super easy to crimp, but you get them with wire, of course, and a little bit of soldering work, and then you can charge all your LiPos. Of course, the RocHobby LiPos too. Connect this one again. Of course, you can charge every 2S LiPo now by this wire. 4 point, wow, those are super bad LiPos. Not well balanced. 600 milliamp hours, so I would go to 0.6 start in German. Wow. Not super old, but not balanced at all. That means probably already a huge inner resistance in one cell. I don't want to fully charge it. Don't store your LiPos full. Best store them at about 3.8 volts. And that's the okie dokie. What's the problem here? That's already, don't know what the problem is with this. What's your problem? Now it works. See, 3 probably because I unplugged the other LiPo and didn't stop the charging cycle. 3.9, that's good for storage. And of course you can also charge the LiPos with red JST plugs. 2S with this 3.84, 3.83, perfect storage voltage. So that's it, guys. Best search Google for TRex 150 charging cable or parallel charging cable or OMP M1, and you will get those important JST-XH plugs, and buy one of those for 3 in parallel or 6, and then you can charge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of about the same charging status and the same LiPo type. Hope this helps, because such a lot of people seem to have trouble and don't know how to charge their LiPos of their microcrawlers with a normal charger. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. I'll be back.